Hi, Changemakers. My name is Vera Alex, and this is the Vera Alex Show. Welcome. This show is the brainchild of Vera Alex Coaching Company, a faith-based company that is focused on wholeness, wealth building, social impact, discipleship, and productivity. Today, we are focused on wholeness and therapy. And with me is Lubem Ajiva. Really lovely to have you here today.
To have it all.
So, first, tell us what you do.
Like I said, my name is Ajiva Lubem. I primarily shoot videos. I shoot corporate videos. I shoot commercials. I shoot documentaries, and I also make content about drug addiction and stuff because I had a history of it.
Yeah. So, you have had like a, let's say, traumatic or tragic, let's just use the word traumatic. You've had a traumatic growing up experience, dealing with sexual abuse, drug addiction. Do you want to share more about that in details?
In details, okay. I would try. I've not spoken about this in a while, like I said. I think I will start by saying I grew up in a home where, so growing up, I grew up around a father that constantly kept comparing me to other children. And that's because growing up, I was quite different from my siblings. Or my sibling then. I had only one sibling then. My other sister. She is more outspoken. I won't say I am still very much soft-spoken, but because of the kind of work I do now, I'm forced to have to
outspoken,
yes,
to speak out.
But then I used to be more introverted, and so he used to constantly compare me to children in church that used to be like the drama units and all the other choir and all that. But me, I was also always like on my own, so he kind of made me feel like something was wrong with me because he constantly kept to say, "Oh, look at this child, look at what the person is doing, why can't you do it?" And it was honestly becoming an issue because whenever I went somewhere, I just automatically started comparing myself to other children. And Joyce Meyer said in a book, Battlefield of the Mind, she said, when you play the comparison game, you never come out on top. Because when you compare yourself to other people, you never just put yourself on top, like you're always just lower. So I think that was the genesis of my low self-esteem. And because of that, I did not really have a functional relationship with my mom or my dad. So I had a cousin that was living with us then. I think I was like 9 or so. So she started sexually abusing. At the time, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even understand what was going on. But again, I didn't have a good enough relationship with them to talk to them about it. So it went on for a while until she left. When she
left, a year.
It was more than a year, maybe like 2-3 years or even 4. I can't remember.
So like, let's say age of 9.
Yeah, between 9 and 12.
9 and 12.
I was really young. So by the time she left, there was that gap. So it was there. I just didn't know it was there. I was there. And then when I got to secondary school, before then, I had different instances of low self-esteem. My dad comparing me to other children. So it went on for a long time till I got to secondary school. So I made all the wrong decisions. Went around with some serious people in school because I just did not know how to pick.
Please see yourself better.
Yes, and I did not have a relationship with them enough to tell them what it felt like I was struggling with that. Yeah. So in secondary school, I met this guy. I remember him. I remember his name. Sometimes when I think like that, this guy ruined my life. I remember the 2 people actually. One guy in school introduced me to porn. Right?
So it was first pornography.
Yeah.
So self-esteem issues, sexual abuse, So sexual abuse increased.
I think it just left that gap because we never really. It happened and she left, and so
There was already a gap. They didn't speak to anybody about it because there was no trustworthy adult at the time
Yes.
to speak to. Then you go into school and then you hang out with the wrong crowd because of self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
And then you meet somebody. So the first thing in school is pornography.
yeah, it was. And then around that time as well, I started going out with these two guys. These guys, I remember their names and their faces because I just feel like they ruined my life. There were these two guys I started going out with, and they started to teach me how to smoke, like small, So one day, I ran into my dad outside of school, and then he's like, "What are you doing outside of school?" And picks me from there, takes me home, and says, "Since I don't want to go to school, I will stay at home." And that was it. I was at home for a while. So there was this guy that knew around me.
Wait, hold on. Where did your dad catch you doing? What did he catch you doing?
We were outside of school. I think we were going somewhere. It was a day school.
Or was it this school?
Yes, it was during school hours.
Oh, okay.
Start of school.
Good.
I can't remember.
This was secondary school.
Yeah, I was in SS1.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was at home for a while. And then this guy, my neighbor, introduced me to porn. No, I had already known about porn, so he started to show me
more.
And then he now introduced me to masturbation because he was like, okay, let's masturbate. What was that? Nah, what do you do when you watch porn? Like, I don't know what.
So usually porn and masturbation go alongside.
Yeah, but to me, I didn't know. I was a child. I don't know anything. This guy just ruined my life. Yeah.
Your life is not ruined at that time.
No, he ruined my life at the time. Because this guy just
you were a child. And then he had to pass on what he knew.
Yeah, so that happened.
Yeah.
And that was just the beginning of the whole thing. So my uncle came one time and asked me why I was at home. And like he just passed, God rest his soul. I asked me why I was at home, and he asked my dad, he gave me explanation, say, okay, let me go and stay with him in just. And they'll put me in school and every time. My dad was like, this one, you put this one in school, he will not stay. Those things just...
What class were you at this time?
SS1.
SS1.
Those things just further broke my esteem. Like, why is this guy just spoiling? So we went there and I wasn't very comfortable there. And so I started to hang out with the wrong people again around that place. Those ones now introduced me to not only the normal smoking we used to do, but weed. That was where I now started to smoke weed and other stuff. And then I managed to finish school, went to a private university, and then it just got worse from there. So it was just a cycle of drug abuse, pornography, masturbation, and drug abuse. It was just a cycle like that. And then I now had low self-esteem, which I think was like the core of all this, because I usually tell people that drug addiction is not the problem. The problem is what made people get to the point where they decided to abuse drugs. That's a big problem. So I usually,
like a cover up for what's really going on.
Yeah. So I usually just say the problem is not the problem. The problem is when you think that the problem is not a problem. So it's like when you see somebody that steals for a living, that's not the problem. The problem is that he feels like it's okay to steal for a living. So if you fix that problem, that mindset, you won't steal again. But most times people try to fix the thief, and that's exactly not the problem. So most times these days people try to fix this drug addiction. So go to rehab, go to this, go to this. But that's not really the problem. Say, well, that's cycle I did for 3 years. On the final year, when I now got expelled, God just orchestrated that thing. When I think about, I was angry at the way it happened then, right? But when I think about it now, I just know that God just orchestrated it for me to get to the rehab I went to. And that was, I got expelled. And because I didn't want to go home and face my mom, she didn't even know that I had all those pictures. I spoke to her on the phone. I mean, she was crying and all, but so we decided to, stay. My dad, that was the first time my dad even came to the school where I was. I don't think he even knew where I was schooling. He came.
University?
Yes, Redeemer University there. So he came, and the chaplain there now said, we can consider going to this rehab. Kadam, Christ-Agreeing Drug Abuse Ministry. They help people and that, And because me, I was honestly tired of that whole cycle of the whole thing. I just needed like a break from all that. And to me, I think to a large extent, that's why rehab worked for. Because people always just feel like rehab doesn't work. But that's because before somebody goes to rehab, the person has to come to a point where they realize they have a problem and they need help. If not, they might not.
It's like you're forcing them to transform.
Yeah.
So for some people, it feels like that's their normal life.
What's that?
It's like the cycle.
Oh yes.
It feels like
to a lot of people.
Is there any way out? Like
for a lot of people, right? That's like their normal life. And some people have just given up. Like, this is where.
So for you, I think, okay, before we talk about how it affected you negatively, in which there was a lot of things. I mean, it's already obvious the amount of things that happened. You couldn't do any other thing with your life. That's literally the cycle we were in.
Yes.
So your whole life was horrible.
It was. I mean, anytime I thought about my future, I couldn't say just saw darkness. It was all dark. I couldn't see anything. Yeah. And at the time, I had already started to learn video editing because I was in mass communication. And I was pretty good at it. But still, I couldn't see anything. In fact, at some point, I just decided I was going to go to Mexico and just be drug trafficker or some called the like traffic alert. That's I mean, that was my fun. Immediately after university, I'm going to Mexico because those guys have like.
Thank you, God, for saving. So okay. So the question I actually have now is: so you get in. What's the first thing that happens? It's a faith-based rehab. What's the first thing that happens once you get in? Do they tell you to give your life to Jesus? Is that the first thing that happens?
No, that's never the first thing.
Yeah.
The first thing they do is a process called withdrawal.
Okay.
Where you stay for like, I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Without anything.
Without any drug.
Yeah.
You just be eating and sleeping. And praying. We pray in the morning. Yeah, then we do chores. And then you eat, you sleep. That period is crazy. Some people run away because it's like somebody telling you now they have to stop eating.
Like fast forward to it, because that was what your life was before.
Because you wake up, that's the first thing you're doing. Like you smoke, you drink, you do this, and now somebody just takes all that away. I remember one time in school, it was like I was sick, but when I just had some weed and everything, I was okay. I knew what was wrong with me because I tried to stop at some. I got sick. My friend knew what was wrong with this guy. Just stay.
So it was more like they were using that 3 weeks to detox. From what had happened in the last years.
Yes. Some people.
It was going to be crazy.
Some people ran away because the rehab till now is not still a place where they lock you up and say you cannot go. You just, because it's free, we just sign a paper and say, oh, you're not interested again.
But you can come back if you want.
And once you leave, and because it's free, you can't waste resources like that. It's free because people actually donate to make it free. They go, they do interviews for people. It's a whole process before you get. But once you go out, I mean, it's just a few people that were lucky enough to go, and then after like some years, they now have the opportunity to now
going back.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the first thing they did. As you see people sick, you would think they would die. I had to go and ask the pastor,
This was normal.
how long have you been running the tree? At the time, it was about 23 years. And I said, in these 23 years, has anybody ever this guitar system? They said no. And I was like, I can't.
Let me process that. You went to ask. So if anybody had ever died.
Yeah, because I'm just very logical. I think I gave my life to Christ out of logic. I didn't just want to go to it.
So it was like heaven or hell.
Yeah, so it just logic.
Jesus Christ died for me. This is
No, give your life to Christ.
No, like Jesus Christ. They say so you don't go to hellfire.
Exactly. So everything for me is usually just like logic. So because this thing was not making sense, I was seeing people sick, looking like they're going to die. Some people were living. So when they said in 23 years nobody has died from that,
that process.
I was like, I can't be the first person.
So I think for you made up your mind already. Yeah. It was like, you know what? I want a change. I am tired.
Like anything they are doing,
as we do.
We'll do. At first, they were watching me. Anytime I take the walk around the rehab, they're just watching me because some people just run away.
Yeah.
So they thought I would just run. I knew the guy was following me.
Oh.
Okay, but I wasn't going to run away. I was always there. So that's the first thing they do. So after those 3 weeks, then in addition to the prayer, we do therapy sessions, which is where they try to figure out what happened. So we do general therapy and individual.
We do therapy.
In my set, I think we're like 35.
Okay.
They do individual therapy for everybody to find out why, what got everybody to the point where they started doing what they were doing, right? And then they also do skill acquisition, because most people, because of the kind of life they live with these drugs, they don't actually have anything.
But were they the ones that introduced you to video stuff?
No, I was doing that in school.
Okay, readings.
I didn't even do much of. I think I did soap making or something that whole, because I kind of knew after then I was going to go into making video.
Okay. I have tons of questions. Okay, so
let's take them.
Yeah, don't write it. Okay, so you're thinking to yourself, at what point did you give your life to Jesus?
In the rehab.
So it was a logical thing. At that time.
Yes.
At that time it was logical.
It was, because
there was no deeper connection.
Well, not really. I think, okay, what happened one day was I was just overwhelmed with everything that was going on with me, and I was asking in my mind, what am I going to do? Because this thing was just becoming too much. And I think I heard a voice in my head that said, have you told me? Or
No.
And I said to my Holy Spirit, is that you? I said yes.
Wow.
I was so scared.
Yeah.
You know, so
it was like first encounter.
Yeah. So I was at the rehab. I now finally gave my life to Christ, and I thought that okay. Although I struggled with a lot of other things apart from drugs, because the porn and the sexual everything, I struggled with that a bit after rehab. Before everything got
better. So then the first thing that happens, you come out. So how long did it take?
1 year.
So you stayed over the 1 year?
Yeah, I stayed through the 1 year in the rehab. Rehab was 1 year. So the 1 year, in between that time, they were so kind to speak to my school again, and they accepted me back in final year.
Okay.
That's the regional university. So I went back, completed my university, went to NYC, and then started my life
again.
VACC Coaching Getaway is here again. Do you have a vision of bringing change to your community? Do you want to achieve more with less stress, thereby reducing perceived procrastination? Do you want to heal from childhood or adulthood trauma? Have you been looking for a faith-based community of people healing, growing together, building wealth together, and impacting society together? VACC Community offers simple strategies to overcoming procrastination and doing more in less time with less stress, growing in your walk with Christ, multiplying your money to make more impact, healing from childhood and adulthood trauma, impacting your community with your story or your skill, and enjoying a fantastic coaching getaway at least once a year. If this interests you and you would love to join us, click the link below to be a part of us.
So, do you think that, because a lot of Christians struggle with the idea of going to therapy?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So what I think is ridiculous, because addiction or whatever
Situation.
mental illness and all
Like
that,
traumatic situation, mental trauma.
I think it should be viewed as physical sickness, malaria, typhoid. So I think
Like, you're not mad. That's what people usually say. Like, it's nothing wrong with you.
you're just sick.
Mm.
So you can imagine, as a Christian, you're sick. Obviously, you have headache or malaria. You've stayed in somewhere where there are a lot of mosquitoes, and because of that, you have malaria. Yes, you can pray for God to heal you, but please go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
Going to see a doctor doesn't mean you are not Christian enough or something. Do you get? So
Something is wrong.
yes, so
God provided
something
like
is wrong.
doctors to help.
Therapy is like going to the hospital when you're sick.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I didn't used to think like we before. I just thought that why are you going to waste money to just give somebody and be talking to them? It doesn't make any sense.
But like
But
going
then
through what you
Doctors,
have gone through.
same thing.
Yeah, consultation.
And talk to them.
Yeah.
Tell them what's
feeling.
wrong. Yes. And they will prescribe drugs.
Like,
for
I
you.
think this is what it might be.
Yeah, because they'll tell you these are symptoms of malaria.
Yeah.
Same way therapists can tell you these are symptoms of depression. These are symptoms of whatever it is. So I think it is absolutely necessary, if need be, for you to, because I just feel like a lot of Christians want to just pray about everything, which is good. But I also think that there are some physical steps that can also take to fix things.
So how has your life been after? Like, from that time? Because I know that you said you still struggled with some things. Even coming out, like, was it an immediate kind of, because I know that 1 year is a long time to abstain from those things. So how was it like coming out
So
after that year?
I think that the real rehab starts after that 1 year.
Wow.
That 1 year, I mean, you don't have access to it, so just easy. I think the real rehab starts after that one, because when you come out, you're probably going back to the same trends you used to have. You are coming back to the same world where people are smoking and all that.
The same setting, the same
Yeah,
home,
because
same all of that.
I came out and maybe I want to buy something somewhere. Somebody lights a cigarette and you smell it. And our memories just come back so strong. And you're like, Jesus. Yeah. That kind of thing. So I struggled with that. But the thing with the rehab is they just gave us blueprints for everything. One of the things they said there was, if you want to stay completely clean for a long time, your relationship with God has to be strong. So once you begin to decline in your relationship with God, you are likely to
Go back.
past there. So for me, that was one thing that was helping. I know that may sound cliche, but
It does not.
been what has helped.
You're constant.
Yeah. And then along with some other things they
Okay, so
taught us.
did you practical now? Did you change your friends?
Oh, I changed my friends. I had to. Because my friends were crazy. But the thing about that was my crazy friends thought I was crazy. So
For real?
see,
As introverted as you are.
yeah, because I didn't used to talk a lot, but the things I used to do, just look at you like, what is, like, this guy, relax, what's this say? So I had to change my friends. I made new friends in church. My industry is one where you are going to be exposed to this kind of things. So from very early, I decided to not do some kind of work. I didn't do music videos, so like I decided not to do music videos.
Like entertainment music videos.
Yes, So I did music videos. I kind of dabbled into it, but at some point I saw that no, this thing you're not going to
continue
work. Not going to work. You can't just continue putting yourself
out there in
close
that
to the
position.
like
Yeah.
So I just decided to get into corporate work, because there, even if you find people that do that, when you guys are working, it's not there. Everyone is working. I have to work professionals. Yeah, so I had to change my friends. I had to pick the kind of work I did with my work. I had to also, they taught us about stages of relapse. So there's mental relapse, emotional relapse, and physical relapse. So at every time, I had to know where I was. There was somebody I dated in NYC. I thought I was going to marry, and then it didn't work out. The breakup got to me, and then I went from mental relapse to emotional relapse. I just knew that. So it's always just good to just know where you are. And after that time, a lot of times I've come where I know that at this point I'm at mental relapse. I know what to do when I'm there. I know what to do when I'm at emotional relapse. If not, it will definitely just come to where you...
So you have like strategies, like hidden, invisible strategies in your mind.
Hidden.
No, not hidden. I'm saying like inside of your mind. Your mind has like, these are the steps to take.
Yes, like
if
where
they never happen.
The area where I live now, I know where they sell drugs. Everywhere they sell drugs in this, and I just avoid it when I'm going for my road walk or not. I just avoid it. Now it's a bit easier for me because now I can.
There's so much more to live for.
Yes, but at the earlier stages, I avoided. So anytime I go somewhere, I just figure out where all these things go, and I just make sure to avoid them. Yeah. Once I begin to talk to people in my industry and I see that that's what you do, I just try to avoid you and just keep it strictly work. So it was a lot of work. So that's why I was saying that it's not everything you just pray about.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. It was almost like I was paranoid.
Yeah. No, you have to be like, you're literally setting up standards and structures, rebuilding what was already crashed.
So it was a lot of work. But like I said, it gets easier. Not easier, it just gets less difficult when you are, because one of the things I think people that are trying to get out of drug addiction or any addiction, which is very important, is don't try to leave whatever addiction or whatever. Try to just build a different life in your life, because what you focus on is what will amplify it. If you keep saying, I don't want to smoke, I don't want to watch porn, I don't want to... You likely will. Yes.
You likely will.
So for me, I was constantly thinking, I want to be a better cinematographer, to be a better editor,
better Christian.
I want to be a better Christian. So those were the things I focused on building. So it helped me to not think too much about other stuff, because you can't always just say, oh, I don't smoke, well, that's what, because you are thinking of smoking anyway. But I just focused on, I did a lot of personal development. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube because I didn't have enough money to really go to training school. But I watched a lot of videos on YouTube. I did a lot of personal projects. I shot free stuff. I was anywhere there was an opportunity to film something for free or for little money, I was there. I was just trying to build a different life. I was in church. I was in the media unit. I was there. It was like second office. I was just there. So it's very important to just build a different life rather than focusing on how can I live. Once you've decided to live it, always just think of the person you want to be after election and focus on building that person. That is what I did. Till now, that is still
what you do.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. So, thank you so much. This was really, I was going to ask you like the things that you did, but you already mentioned them, like practical things that you did, but you already mentioned them. So thank you so much for...
Just seems so quick.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much for that. I think one of the things that I want to highlight, or the thing that I want you to highlight, is there's probably a dad right now, or you already talked about the aspect of you dealing with it as a person, any kind of addiction. So there's a dad right now, or a mom right now, that probably they're struggling, maybe their child, they don't know what's going on with their child. What can they do? Do you think that, before you answer, do you think that families should go for therapy? Do you think that it's necessary? Or, like I'm saying, especially when you're growing a child, preventive, for them to know certain things. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. When you talk about preventive, maybe not therapy, because I've said it before that people take the time to learn other things. You learn how to drive, you learn how to use a computer, you learn how to, do the work you're doing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to raising children, people just don't learn how to do that, because feel like, just because you can afford a car doesn't mean you can automatically drive
it.
So just because you can have a child does not automatically mean we can raise a child. So parents need to learn. Like now, I'm reading books per age of my child. Now, that does not mean that you will get everything right.
Of course.
It's like an exam. You read for the exam, not mean you will get all the answers.
That's correct.
Or at least to a large extent, you can understand what is going on at a particular age, because there are some things my daughter is doing now that I just know that it's the age, and I know what to do. It doesn't mean I know everything, but you just have an understanding, and then you also know how to raise them and give them values and all that, because people need to grow up with their children.
Yeah.
At every stage, you grow up with them. There's just a lot you can learn from listening to people speak, reading books. So I think for preventive, I think that's what can help. People should actually intentionally learn how to parent, how to raise a child. Because again, every child is different. So you can read something somewhere, but you may not apply to your child, but your child will just very...
And then you also need the wisdom of Holy Spirit.
Yes, which is, I think,
paramount,
most important, because there's a prayer I used to pray, because I saw that in the Bible before John the Baptist was born, before Jesus was born, God kind of revealed to their parents what the even before Samson was born as well, he revealed to them what they're supposed to do. So with that understanding, they kind of raise them differently from how they raise other children. So I think it's possible for God to give you an idea of what your child is supposed to do or how. Yeah, so I pray that God reveals not necessarily the purpose, but the way you give them blueprint. Oh, this child is supposed to be this, it's supposed to be this. God can reveal that to you. And then based on that, you just know how to raise your child for that assignment that God has
for them.
So that's one major prayer, like I pray for. Yes. So for preventive, I think that's the way to.
That's the way to go instead of going to therapy. So therapy is like maybe there's a little bit of issue here and there. I get that. All right. So one of the things that we do at VACC is therapy, right? Wholeness and therapy. So if you do have childhood experiences, traumatic experiences, right, you should consider joining our community. It's so important, right? We'll look forward to having you. You can send a message to any of the links that you see in the video. Down, up, send a message. I'll get you plugged in. So thank you so much, Lubem. This was really enlightening even for me.
I don't think I had a handshake with you. They always just.
So yeah, thank you so much. Any conclusive, anything else that you want to add?
Oh, I think I added it already. You asked me already.
Yeah.
But I think one other thing I just want to re-emphasize is drug addiction, especially, is not always the problem. The problem is what happened to the person before they got to the point where they started.
Do you think identity has a major?
It's not.
like
Maybe
identity.
it has.
It has. It's
And
the
then
major
there are
difference.
some other ones.
No, I'm saying that someone not knowing who they are.
Yeah, I think that one is major. And then there are some other people is trauma. I know a guy that his parents divorced. Then he started to feel like it was his fault, and that's when he now dabbled into drugs. I know someone that lost his mom, when he was like 19 or something, and then the pain, he was angry with God and everything. So it's different. So those kind of people, you don't just go trying to take out the drug
From them.
Yeah, it's
Let's
just
find out the root cause.
find out, because when people reach out to me or they need help for this person, do I know a rehab? That's always the first thing. You need a rehab that they just want to ship the person up. You need to,
And they even need to feel loved. They need to feel like you really care. Like you're not just trying to
sick.
Yeah.
Addiction is actually sick.
Yeah. They're not just trying to take the drug away from them or to take the addiction away from them. You have to show that that you really care about them.
Because
And
addiction is actually
It's a sickness.
most time people that are addicted do not even understand what is wrong with them. When I was in rehab, there was a doctor there, so obviously he knows that this thing will kill him.
Kill.
But he was still doing it. So it is something not just understand. It's actually a sickness, and they need help. So that's why I said it was important for people that are trying to break out of any addiction to accept that they have a problem and they need help. Because one thing addicts do a lot is they just live in
Denial.
I did that also. I told people I don't have a problem. I just smoke my weed. I stay on my own because I'm very quiet. So I stay on my own. I don't disturb anybody. I'm just making my weed. I'm high. And I take it because it helps me to do things that I will not be able to do normally. Like when I'm high, I can have the presentation in class. And because we had a class presentation one time, mine was so terrible. The next time we had presentation, I was high, and that was like the best presentation and everybody was talking about it, so it looked like it was working for me. But those things take away from you as much as they give you something,
quote and unquote.
yeah.
So
that's what I would just do as well.
Thank you so much, Lubem.
And then
hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed filming this video. Please subscribe, like, and comment your feedback in the comment section. We would love to read them, and some of them we'll even put them here on the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye. Jesus loves you. Bye.
Have you been looking to join a community of kingdom change makers that are achieving much with less stress, building wealth together, bringing change to their communities, healing from childhood and adulthood trauma? This is the community for you. VACC is a faith-based community that is focused on wholeness, wealth building, social impact, discipleship, and productivity. If you are interested in any of this, then send a message to the link in the description below. See you there.